Welcome to the show we're in. News to share, where to begin. Free sides to every tale we tell. The truth is here, it's ringing bells. Dive in deep, let's take a look. In every twist and turn we took. For glory lies within the truth. We're chasing facts, it's our pursuit.
So we're diving into living trusts.
Oh, yeah.
But
Always a fun topic.
here's the twist. We're not talking about what to put in them.
Okay.
We're talking about what you should keep out.
Interesting.
Yeah, and we've got some...
Flipping the script.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
We've got some insights from estate planning and asset protection experts.
Okay.
Mostly from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, some of this advice might surprise you.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay.
So let's get into it.
For example, this one really caught my eye.
Okay.
A few experts said I shouldn't put my car in my trust.
Really?
Yeah. But hold on. Doesn't that defeat the purpose of avoiding probate?
Well, it's true that assets in a trust typically bypass probate.
Right.
Vehicles actually have a very straightforward transfer process.
Right.
I mean, think about it. All you need is a death certificate, and the DMV handles the rest. Putting your car in a trust might not only be unnecessary,
Okay.
it could actually increase your liability if you're ever in a lawsuit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So if I get sued after like a fender bender
Mm-hmm.
and my car is in the trust, they could go after my other assets.
That's the risk. You're opening yourself up to more potential problems.
That's scary.
Plus, insurance companies sometimes get a little confused when a vehicle is titled under a trust,
Okay.
which could just lead to more complications.
Yeah.
So in this case, simplicity might be your best protection.
I like that simplicity is good.
Absolutely.
All right, cars staying out of the trust.
Good call.
Now, what about retirement accounts?
Mm-hmm.
Like 401k, IRAs, things like that?
Those are best left as they are.
Okay.
They're already structured similarly to trusts, and they come with their own beneficiary designations.
Right.
Transferring them into your living trust could actually create a big tax headache. Yeah, you might end up paying taxes as if you withdrew the entire amount.
Oh, no. That sounds bad.
Yeah, it's a taxable event.
So what's the best way to handle those accounts then?
You simply designate your trust as the beneficiary.
Okay.
That way the money flows into your trust after you're gone, but you avoid that immediate tax liability.
It's like having your cake and eating it, too.
Exactly.
This brings up another question, though.
All right.
Let's say my kids are my beneficiaries,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want them getting like a huge lump sum when they're young,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like what then?
That's where specific trust provisions come in.
Okay.
You can create a plan for how those funds are distributed over time.
Okay.
Maybe it's staggered payments as they reach certain milestones,
Okay.
or even stretching it out over years.
That's smart.
It's all about tailoring it to your wishes
I like that.
and the needs of your beneficiary.
That's a relief. I definitely wouldn't want them blowing through their inheritance at 23.
Yeah, I think a lot of people worry about that.
Yeah, big time.
And
It seems like these details are really crucial.
absolutely. The distribution plan is just as important as the assets themselves.
Okay.
It's about ensuring that your wealth is managed responsibly,
Mhm.
even after you're gone.
I like that. Now, how about life insurance? Similar situation.
It depends. Like retirement accounts, you can name a beneficiary directly.
Okay.
To bypass probate,
Right.
you might even name your spouse as the primary beneficiary
Mm.
and your trust as the backup, just in case.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are some situations where a trust is actually the recommended strategy for life insurance.
Really? When would that be the case?
If you have a larger policy and you're concerned about estate taxes,
Okay.
then an irrevocable life insurance trust might be a good move. It's a separate trust,
Okay.
distinct from your living trust,
Got it.
designed specifically to minimize estate taxes.
That sounds a bit complex, but it's good to know the option exists.
Yeah, definitely something to discuss with an expert.
All right, so it's clear that simply avoiding probate isn't the only factor
Right.
when deciding what goes into a trust.
Mm-hmm.
Asset protection and potential taxes play a huge role too.
Huge role. It's all about strategic planning, not a one-size-fits-all approach. And here's something that really stood out to me.
Okay.
A few experts emphasized that many people jump into complex trust structures prematurely.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they stress the importance of focusing on income generation
Okay.
and building those assets first.
So it's like you need to have a solid foundation
Exactly.
before you can build the fancy house on top.
You got it. You need to have something to protect before you start putting up all these walls.
Makes sense to me. So once you have those assets,
Right.
that's when the revocable living trust really shines.
Precisely. It can become that umbrella structure to hold your various assets,
Okay.
such as LLCs, rental properties,
Right.
anything you want to keep organized and maintain privacy around.
Okay. Starting to see the big picture here. But now I'm curious about this idea of a holding company.
Okay.
Is that something everyone needs?
Not necessarily. It's more common for people with significant assets. It's essentially an LLC
Okay.
that exists solely to hold assets. It's not actively running a business,
Okay.
but it adds an extra layer of protection between you personally and those assets.
So it acts as a shield.
Imagine you own a rental property.
Mhm.
If it's just in your name
Right.
and you're sued, that property could be at risk.
Okay.
But if it's owned by an LLC,
Mm-hmm.
which is then owned by your trust,
Yeah.
it creates a barrier.
Oh,
The trust is the ultimate owner,
right.
but the LLC adds that extra layer of protection.
I never thought about it that way.
Pretty neat, huh?
Yeah, so the goal isn't to hide assets.
No, not at all.
It's about structuring them to minimize risk.
Exactly.
That's pretty smart.
Being proactive and strategic is key.
Okay. Now this gets even more interesting when we start talking about different types of LLCs.
Okay, I'm listening.
Because there are actually a few to consider.
Different types of LLCs. Interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
All right, I'm ready to dive into those details.
Let's do it.
Okay. So you're telling me there are different kinds of LLCs.
It is a bit like that.
Okay.
We've touched on holding companies. Those are the LLCs that just hold assets.
Right.
But now let's talk about the ones that actually operate a business.
Okay.
These are called, you guessed it, operational LLCs.
Operational LLCs.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty straightforward.
So if I were like a freelance graphic designer,
Mm-hmm.
I'd have an operational LLC to manage like the business side of things.
Exactly. And the income you generate as a designer flows into that LLC.
Okay.
But here's a crucial point.
Okay.
An operational LLC doesn't directly save you on taxes.
What?
Yeah,
I always thought LLCs were all about tax benefits.
that's a common misconception. The main purpose of an operational LLC
Okay.
is to protect your personal assets from liability.
Okay.
It separates your personal finances from the ups and downs of your business.
So it's like a legal shield,
Yeah.
but not necessarily a tax shield.
Right, but don't worry, there are ways to unlock those tax savings.
Okay.
This is where something called an S Corp comes in.
An S Corp. All right, I'm all ears.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more about this S Corp magic.
Essentially, you can choose to have your operational LLC
Okay.
taxed as an S corporation.
Yeah.
It's a fairly simple process,
Okay.
and it can significantly reduce your self-employment taxes.
Self-employment taxes. Those are the ones that hit freelancers and small business owners hard, right?
Exactly. With a regular LLC, you're paying self-employment tax on all your profits.
Okay.
But with an S Corp,
Mm-hmm.
you only pay those taxes on the salary you take,
Oh.
not the entire profit.
So you're strategically dividing your income
Exactly.
to minimize your tax burden. That's really clever.
It's all about being smart with your finances.
I like it. And here's a helpful tip.
Oh, yeah.
One expert recommended considering the switch to an S Corp
Mm-hmm.
once your net income after expenses surpasses around $50,000.
Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb.
Okay, so it often becomes more financially beneficial at that point.
Usually makes sense.
Got it. Good to know. I'll be keeping that number in mind as my business grows. But what if I'm not a business owner?
Okay.
Let's say I'm focused on investing,
Mm-hmm.
maybe in real estate or other ventures.
Okay.
Are there LLC strategies for that?
You bet. That's where the fascinating world of IRA LLCs comes in.
IRA LLCs. Okay, that sounds a bit intimidating. Break it down for me.
Think of it this way. You gain a lot more control over where your retirement funds are invested.
Okay.
Instead of being limited to the usual stocks, bonds, and mutual funds,
Right.
you could invest in things like real estate private businesses or even cryptocurrency,
Really?
all within your IRA.
Hold on. Are you saying I could use my IRA to buy a rental property?
You absolutely can.
Why?
You form a special LLC,
Okay.
the IRA LLC,
Right.
and it's owned by your IRA.
Okay.
This becomes your investment vehicle,
Yeah.
giving you a lot more flexibility.
Wow, this is blowing my mind. I'm definitely going to do some more research on IRA LLCs.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn.
So we've covered holding companies,
Right.
operational companies, S Corp, and even IRA LLCs for self-directed investing. Anything else?
Well, we haven't talked about partnerships yet.
Oh, right. Partnerships. If I'm planning to join forces with someone else,
Mm-hmm.
you're saying I'd want to consider a partnership LLC?
It offers essential protection. A partnership LLC clearly defines the terms of your business relationship,
Okay.
outlining ownership percentages, responsibilities, and profit sharing.
So if I'm going into business with a friend,
Exactly.
we should create an LLC together.
That's a good idea.
Why is that so important?
It helps prevent misunderstandings and potential conflicts down the road. Think of it like a prenup for your business.
Prenup for your business. I like that analogy.
Keeps things clear.
Yeah. And if we were both running our own businesses,
Yeah.
could our separate LLCs be the partners in the new LLC?
That's exactly right. It creates this multi-layered structure,
Oh, wow.
offering a high level of protection for each individual
Right.
and for the partnership as a whole.
So we're both shielded
Yes.
by our own entities. And the partnership operates as its own distinct entity as well.
Exactly.
Wow, there's so many layers to this.
It can get complex.
It's a lot to take in, but I'm really starting to grasp how strategic these structures can be.
It's all about planning ahead.
So just to recap, we've talked about different LLC types, holding companies, operational companies, the S-Corp election, and even IRA LLCs for self-directed investing. We also touched on the importance of partnership LLCs
Yes.
for collaborative ventures.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we should know about LLCs?
Those are the major players. But remember, LLCs are just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
We also need to talk about choosing beneficiaries for your trust
Okay.
and making a plan for how your assets are distributed.
Okay.
And of course, there's the matter of estate taxes to consider.
It sounds like we're ready to move on to those crucial topics.
Let's do it.
All right. So we've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
talking about what not to put in a trust
Yeah.
and the different ways to structure LLCs.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Okay.
But now let's shift gears and talk about estate planning and beneficiaries.
Okay.
This is where we really start talking about legacy, right?
Absolutely.
Making sure our wishes are carried out after we're gone.
You've set up your trust. You've strategically organized your assets.
Right.
But now you need to determine who benefits from all of this when you're gone.
Okay.
It's a big responsibility,
Yeah.
but also a chance to shape how your hard-earned wealth is used to support your loved ones.
Right.
Or even charities you believe in.
Okay. So first things first, choosing those beneficiaries. I'm assuming this is where, like, my spouse and kids would typically go.
That's the most common scenario.
Okay.
But remember, it can be anyone you choose.
Oh, really?
Family, friends, charities, even your alma mater.
So hypothetically, I could leave everything to my pet goldfish.
Hypothetically, yes.
Okay.
But remember, if you don't specify your wishes, the state steps in with a default plan.
Oh.
And that might not align with what you had in mind at all. You wouldn't want distant relatives you've never met arguing over your estate.
Yeah. No thanks, goldfish out of the will.
Probably a good idea.
But what about situations
Yeah.
where you might want to put some restrictions on how beneficiaries receive their inheritance?
Okay.
Say if they're young or maybe haven't quite mastered budgeting.
That's where those trust provisions we talked about come into play.
Oh, right. Okay.
You can specify all sorts of details,
Like what?
such as age restrictions,
Oh.
staggered distributions over time, or even stipulations about education or financial literacy courses.
Oh, that's cool.
You can create a framework to support their growth,
I like that.
not just hand over a lump sum.
So I could say that my kids don't get full access to their inheritance until they're 30.
Exactly.
And even then, it's paid out gradually.
You got it. It's all about finding a balance between providing for your loved ones and ensuring that your wealth is managed responsibly,
Okay.
even after you're gone.
I'm starting to understand why trusts are so powerful. It's like you're setting up safeguards to help your beneficiaries succeed even when you're not there to guide them.
It's about responsible stewardship.
Okay.
One expert shared a great example about inheriting a house.
Okay.
Imagine your grandmother leaves you her home.
Oof.
It comes with a low tax basis from years ago and an incredible mortgage rate that's locked in.
Right.
That's a truly valuable asset.
Trying to buy that same house today would be incredibly expensive.
Exactly. And your grandmother's trust could specify that the house can't be sold,
Okay.
but it can be rented out,
Oh.
generating income for generations to come.
Wow.
It becomes more than just bricks and mortar. It's a legacy.
That really puts things into perspective.
Yeah, it's about the bigger picture.
It's about thinking long-term, building something that lasts. Now, what about estate taxes?
Okay, good question.
When do those come into play?
Estate taxes are something to be aware of,
Okay.
especially as your wealth grows. Currently, the federal exemption is over $12 million per individual.
$12 million.
Meaning you can pass on that amount without incurring estate taxes.
So unless I win the lottery,
Right.
it's probably not a major concern for me right now.
Probably not. But it's worth noting that some states have their own estate taxes
Oh, really?
with much lower exemption limits.
Interesting.
So it's a good idea to check the rules in your state.
Noted, I'll definitely be doing that. But what if I do build an estate that exceeds those limits?
Okay.
What are my options?
That's where more advanced estate planning strategies come in,
Okay.
such as gifting assets during your lifetime,
Okay.
establishing charitable trusts, or even utilizing that irrevocable life insurance trust we discussed earlier.
Right.
It often requires working closely with a financial advisor or estate planning attorney
Right.
to create the best plan for your situation.
I'm starting to realize that estate planning is a journey,
It is.
not just a one-time event.
It's an ongoing process.
Okay. But for now, the key takeaways
Yeah.
are to choose your beneficiaries thoughtfully. Use those trust provisions to structure how and when they inherit,
Right.
and have a general understanding of estate tax rules.
Exactly. It's a great foundation for protecting your assets and
Okay.
ensuring your wishes are carried out.
I have to say, I've learned so much from this deep dive.
That's great to hear.
It's amazing how much valuable information you can get from just a handful of experts.
It's all about finding the right sources.
I feel a lot more confident about these topics now.
I'm glad to hear that.
Thanks for guiding me through this process.
Of course. It's been my pleasure.
And for our listeners, as you continue your own financial journey, here's a final thought to ponder.
Okay.
We've talked about protecting your assets for your heirs,
Right.
but what about protecting yourself during your lifetime?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Think about potential risks in your own line of work or lifestyle.
Mm,
Are there additional asset protection strategies you should be exploring?
that's a great point.
It's something to consider as you navigate the world of personal finance.
We often focus on the future,
Right.
but it's important to be proactive in the present as well.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Remember, knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.
Welcome to the show we're in. News to share, where to begin. Free sides to every tale we tell. The truth is here, it's ringing bells. Dive in deep, let's take a look. In every twist and turn we took. For glory lies within the truth. We're chasing facts, it's our pursuit. Stories break and come alive, digging deeper to survive. In the chaos, hear the call, uncovering the truth for all. Dive in deep, let's take a look. In every twist and turn we took. For glory lies within the truth. We're chasing facts, it's our pursuit. Stories break and come alive, digging deeper to survive. In the chaos, hear the call, uncovering the truth for all. Dive in deep, let's take a look. In every twist and turn we took. For glory lies within the truth. We're chasing facts, it's our pursuit. It's our pursuit. Comes the light, heartbeat of what's wrong or right. Questions lead us on the quest to find the truth that stands the test. Dive in deep, let's take a look. In every twist and turn